Hi there, grade 9 learners! I'm so glad to be with you this learning session. Welcome to our School on Air in English 9. I am teacher Ellen Jane Ziragasa from Cavite City National High School Main Campus, Schools Division of Cavite City. I am your teacher throughout this learning episode, so please don't go away and stay with me until the end, okay? How are you today, dear learners? I hope you're doing great in your studies. Are you bored already staying home? Before we begin with today's lecture, let us first have a short review about the previous lesson we had, which was about modals and their functions in sentences. A modal is a type of auxiliary helping verb that is used to express ability, possibility, prohibition, permission, or obligation. Modals express ability are can and could, while may and might express possibility. The modal verbs that express permission are the following: may, can, could, will, and would. Meanwhile, the word mustn't expresses prohibition. And lastly, modals expressing obligation are the words must, have to, and ought to. Do always remember to use modals properly to tell exactly you want to convey or express. Before we start our new lesson for today, may I ask you something? Have you done daydreaming? Daydreaming comes from the word daydream. It is a series of pleasant thoughts about something you would prefer to be doing or something you would like to achieve in the future. It may be something real or just imaginary events or situations. Well, I know during this period of quarantine, many of our usual pastimes are unavailable to us, and daydreaming has become a welcome escape. I know this for sure. How about you, my dear learners? What do you daydream? Let me guess. Maybe you are thinking about the following. If you have wings, you will fly to the moon and have fun. This sounds so interesting, doesn't it? I myself also daydream to fly to the moon like Neil Armstrong, the first American astronaut to land onto it. What a great moment it would be. Let me have another guess. Some of you might be thinking, if you visit South Korea, you will watch BTS and Blackpink concerts. Did I guess them right? I know many of you are so in love with the K-pop groups from South Korea. Am I correct? Some of you are also dying to see some big stars in Korean movie industry like Hyun Bin, Park Bo-gum, Song Hye-kyo, and many more. Okay, let's guess. You might be dreaming about this. If you have superpower, you will eliminate COVID-19 virus. This is so great, isn't it? What kind of power do you want to possess then? Well, maybe like Cyclops of X-Men, who emits powerful beams of energy from his eyes. Definitely, that could kill the deadly virus in an instant. My dear learners, let us go back to the statements I mentioned a while ago. Sentence number 1. If you have wings, you will fly to the moon and have fun. Sentence number 2. If you visit Korea, you will watch BTS and Blackpink concerts. And sentence number 3, if you have superpower, you will eliminate COVID-19 virus. What do you notice about the sentence construction of each statement? That's right. Each sentence starts with the word if, and it has two main clauses. We call this as conditionals. Stay with me and let us learn together as we explore the world of conditionals. Are you ready? So, find a comfy place to stay and lend me your ears, alright? Learning to use conditionals helps you to express yourself clearly and really be creative in English. Conditionals may be real or unreal. Real conditionals used to talk about what do you normally do in real-life situations, while unreal conditionals are conditions that are not real, imaginary, or unlikely to happen. Okay, I'm going to begin with the overview of conditionals. We have 4 conditionals: zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and the third conditional. Each conditional has an if clause and a main clause. The structure of a zero conditional is very simple. If or when plus present simple plus present simple. The sentence formation of the first conditional is this: if or when plus present simple plus will or won't plus verb. Next is the second conditional, which follows this pattern: if plus simple past, would plus verb. And lastly, the third conditional with this pattern: if plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. The if clause is the condition, and the main clause is the result or outcome. Example: if I see Taylor Swift, I will take a picture with her. Zero conditional used to talk about permanent truths such as scientific facts, instructions, and general habits. Zero conditional is also called the factual or the real conditional because we use it to talk about truths and facts, things that are in real world. We also use it to talk about habits, rules, and to give instructions that are results of something happening first. So, in other words, if this happens, then this is the result. Simple as that. You want more examples? Here are they. If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. If you heat ice, it melts. See? They are facts. They stay true, right? And they follow the sentence structure of a zero conditional sentence: if or when plus present simple plus present simple. Aside from the word if, we can use the word when as a replacement because both are pretty similar in meaning. We can say when you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. When you heat ice, it melts. Awesome, right? We use if when there is a chance that the action will happen, but it might not happen as well. If does happen, then we know the exact results will be. Example: if we eat fruits and vegetables, I feel fit and healthy. There is a chance this might happen because we do not exactly know if we can eat fruits and vegetables daily. But if we are so sure that the action will happen, then we are going to use when. We might not be very sure when the action will happen, but we are sure that it will be going to happen. Okay? Examples: when I eat fruits and vegetables, I feel fit and healthy. When she goes to the gym to exercise, she feels stronger. Specific time does not matter, but we know the action will take place. Back to forming zero conditionals. Let us look on these few examples here. If you heat ice, it melts. If it rains, the grass gets wet. These are all facts, right? How about this sentence? If it's hot, turn on the air conditioner. What kind of sentence is this? You are correct. Still, this is a zero conditional in form, since it has the condition and the result. This is an example of a conditional giving instruction. It is an imperative. I am instructing you to do something on a particular situation. Take a look at this next example. If I drink, I do not drive. Tell me, what does the zero conditional express? You're right again. This one expresses a habit that if you get drunk, definitely it is a rule that you must not be driving. That is a habit, something you do always. How about if we use zero conditional to talk about rules? How does it go? You have to study this example. If children swim in the pool, parents watch over them. You see, it has two clauses, the if clause and the main clause. Now, let's move to the first conditional, or we call it the possible conditional. Here, we are not talking about facts anymore, okay? These are things that are absolutely true. We are talking about possible future results. Many of us might be thinking about the future. What might be the results of our actions today? Sounds very interesting. We use the first conditional to talk about predictions, superstitions, plans, offers, promises, suggestions, and warnings. Wow, this is so overwhelming that there are a lot that we can use in the first conditional. So, all of this is speak about what likely to happen in the future as future results or outcomes. In here, we are not using the present simple tense anymore since we are now talking about the future. It means if this happens, this will likely happen. Simple as that. Take a closer look at these examples. If you come to the party, I will be very happy. It is possible that you will come to the party. In this condition, I will be very happy. If I get a good job, I will buy a car. It is possible that I will get a good job. So in this case, I will buy a car. You see? These sentences talk about real possibilities in the future. These sentences follow the pattern if or when plus present simple plus will or want plus verb. Just like in zero conditional, we can still use the word if or when, and it depends on how sure we are that something might be going to happen. When tells us that we are so confident that the action is going to happen. And the main clause is most likely the outcome. Example, if you eat a lot, you will gain weight. Definitely possible. If someone eats more than his body needs, for sure, extra weight will be added to him or her. So, we are done talking about zero conditional and the first conditional. But what is their difference? And why would you choose one over the other? Now, let's take a closer look on these two examples. If you leave the milk out, it spoils. If you leave the milk out, it will spoil. Do you find them confusing? How they are different in meaning? Which one is correct? They are both correct. The verse is a zero conditional and the other one is a first conditional, as you have noticed in their forms, but they mean not the same. In the first sentence, it states a general truth or fact that if you leave the milk out the fridge, it spoils. While in the second sentence, it tells about the current situation and its possible outcome that if we leave the milk out in the fridge, it will spoil. So, it is just like a warning about a present situation. Now, let's proceed to the second conditional. Second conditional is used in situations, actions in the present or future which are not likely to happen or are imaginary, hypothetical, or impossible. Example: if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world and buy a castle. This is unlikely to win a lottery, right? It is possible, but definitely unlikely to happen. Now, let's go back again. How does a second conditional look like? I'm in the sentence formation. If plus simple past, would plus verb. So easy to follow, right? Let us have an example. If I were the president, I would lower taxes. Is this something that will unlikely to happen? Then this is a good example of second conditional. In here, the if clause is the condition. We are talking about hypothetical situation here, right? The result suggests what if he becomes the president, which is something very impossible to happen. This is just an imagination. We can also use conditionals to ask hypothetical questions to ask someone to imagine what he would do in a different situation. So, the situations are not real, but very fun to ask such questions. If you won $1 million, would you travel around the world? If you only had one day to live on Earth, what would you do? See how fun these questions can be? Now, try to answer the questions for fun. If you won $1 million, would you travel around the world? If you only had one day to live on Earth, what would you do? For me, if I won $1 million, I would travel around the world with my loved ones. If I had only one day to live, I would make it very meaningful by doing the things I had never done before. How about you? Send me your answers later, okay? Second conditional, you usually imagine what would you do if you are in that situation. Say, for example, if I were you, I would tell my parents about the bullying that happened to me in school. In my example, you might be wondering why I use where with the subject I. The reason we use where instead of was is because the sentence is in the subjunctive mood, which is used for imaginary situations. It also expresses a reason why you can't do something. For example, if I had the money, I would lend it to you. You don't need to explain yourself any further because this sentence already explained that you don't have. Now, let's proceed to the last conditional on the list, the third conditional. Just like the previously discussed conditionals, the third conditional has two clauses, the if clause and the main clause. This one talks about the past, but not a true past, but an unreal past. Sounds intriguing, right? We use this to imagine in the past and the imaginary results in the past. Let us study these examples. If she had driven carefully, she would not have met an accident. If he had studied, he would have passed the exam. These sentences follow the pattern if plus past perfect, would plus have plus past participle. So, based on the examples, we may say that the third conditionals are used to show regrets about the past, things that we could change something in the past, or tell someone the things he did in the past. In the third conditional, we can replace the word would have into other modal verbs like might and could. Use might to show possibility or probability. Example, If he studied more, she might have passed. You see, third conditional is used to express the past consequences of an unrealistic action or situation in the past. Alright, we are done now discussing the use of the four conditionals in various situations, either real or imaginary. Now, let us have an enjoyable activity this time. I'm going to show you pictures. You have to construct sentences using the four conditionals based on the pictures. Okay? Get your pen and paper now. Are you ready? So, let us start. I know there that you have constructed correct sentences. So, let me guess what you have formed. Number 1. If the sun sets, it gets dark. Number 2. If the policeman catches the thief, he will go to jail. Number 3. If you leave the fruit under the sun, it shrinks. Number 4. If I meet Queen Elizabeth in London, I would hug her tight. And lastly, if I had not missed the bus, I might have attended Daniel Padilla's concert. My dear students, do we have exact sentences? Or do we have almost the same sentences? If yes, congratulations! You did it well! So, I assume that everything is clear and well understood. And now, it's quiz time. Let us check your understanding about our lesson for today. So, grab a pen and paper for your answers. Complete the conditional sentences below. Write the correct form of the verb in the parentheses. Number 1. If we violate health protocols, the virus blank rapidly. Number 2. If plants don't have water, sunlight, and soil, they blank. Number 3. If you mix hydrogen and oxygen, you blank water. Number 4. If we blank early, we blank Kylie Jenner. And lastly, number 5. If I blank the answer, I blank it to you. Shall we check now your answers? Number 1. Will spread. The sentence is an example of first conditional. Number 2. Die. The sentence is a zero conditional. Number 3. Form. Another example of zero conditional. Number 4. Had arrived. Would have seen. This is under the third conditional. And number 5, knew, would tell. This is on the second conditional. I hope in this episode, you have clearly visualized the difference among the four conditionals as to their forms and meanings in sentences. Remember, with those slight changes in sentences, mean big difference in the sentence's context. My dear learners, to daydream is okay because it has benefits in the different aspects of life like lessening stress and anxiety, helping you solve problems, and helping you reach your goals and more. But remember, you have to do it in moderation because everything in excess is not good at all. That ends our session for today. If you still have questions and clarifications, please don't hesitate to ask your English teachers. Indeed, today we have learned many great insights. Watch out for another learning episode of our Lesson in English 9 here on our School on Air. This has been Teacher Ellen J saying, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Keep safe and God bless. Bye!